All right, welcome back to the channel. We're going to take another look at Historic today, and particularly we're looking at yet another Beseech the Mirror Storm deck. Um, so if you have been around the Legacy community at all in recent times, you'll notice that Beseech the Mirror has been an absolute boon to all of the Storm decks out there. People are doing a lot of experimentation with this thing, and one thing that is very strong in that format is the combination of fast mana, fast artifact mana, plus Beseech the Mirror, because not only can you use your fast mana to make the mana to cast a Beseech early, but they also then can serve as the token to sack in order to bargain with your Beseech. And basically they'll use that in order to get some sort of other, really powerful combo piece and win the game from there. But in Historic, we have two things that are not there from that combo. Number one, we don't really have a 4 CMC or less spell that can really win the game for us immediately like that. So we kind of need to be clever about it. The other thing that we don't have is the fast mana. The best thing that we have is some 0-drop things like Ornithopters, which unfortunately detract from the mana aspect of things and thin your deck out of useful cards. So it's kind of hard and awkward to make a deck like that work. But what we can do, and this is a brew that I've found on YouTube from a creator that I do not remember the name of. If I can find their video, I will link it in the description here. But for now, just know that this is just a brew that I found floating around. But it's a good one at that. So what we're going to try to do here is a bit slower of a combo. It's more adjusted to Historic speeds. But the combo that we're looking forward to is the Young Pyromancer or Sedgemoor Witch combo with Beseech the Mirror. So the idea here being you cast your Beseech the Mirror sacking something, and when you do, both Young Pyromancer and Sedgemoor Witch have triggers that on cast you get to make a little token. And that token will then be used to have your initial Beseech go off. You might be sacking something like a Shambling Ghast, maybe the treasure that the Shambling Ghast creates. It could be a One Ring that was played. We have a bunch of different options. Deadly Dispute also creates a token. So we'll sack one of these things in order to cast our first Beseech. That's going to trigger these guys, and we'll be getting a creature. And so what our Beseech can do is it can go find another Beseech. And after that Beseech can then use the token that we created with Pyromancer and Sedgemoor Witch in order to cast that Beseech the Mirror for, we'll be able to use it to cast it with Bargain. And so basically what happens is we have 4 Beseech the Mirrors in our deck, so we can get 4 Storm. Then we have 4 copies of Mizzix's Mastery that allow us to then copy the Beseech the Mirror that we put into our graveyard. And when we do a Mizzix's Mastery into Beseech, it's 2 casts, so that adds 2 to Storm and will basically give us 2 triggers on our Pyromancer or Sedgemoor Witch. Whereas with just a Beseech the Mirror being cast, we will only get 1. And so basically what this actually ends up meaning is that we have 4 casts of Beseech the Mirror, 4 casts of Mizzix's Mastery, and then when each Mizzix's Mastery will cast a Beseech the Mirror, so that's essentially 12 Storm. And when our final Beseech the Mirror can hit a Tendrils of Agony, well, that's basically 24 damage. That'll actually be 12 spells, yeah, so 24 damage in total with Tendrils of Agony. Should be enough to kill our opponent. So that's more or less the combo that we're trying to go for here. If we really need to, in addition, and we have some extra mana left over, we can maybe cast 1 or more things in order to up the Storm if our opponent is on life gain. But basically that is more or less it. We'll need to dodge counter magic here, and the way that we do that is by being a proactive Rakdos deck with 4 copies of Thoughtseize and 4 Inquisitions of Kozilek. And like I mentioned before, we have things like Shambling Ghast and Deadly Dispute in order to create those treasure tokens, or just to be, in Shambling Ghast's case, a creature to sacrifice. And then we have, because we are a Beseech the Mirror deck, if we need to slow down and play something a bit more fair, we can go find our One Ring or our Shieldred combo in order to gain life that way. And then basically the name of the game is charging up for a big Beseech the Mirror kill. The fallback, of course, being Sedgemoor Witch and Young Pyromancer are a 2-1 and a 3-2 respectively, so they can kind of get in there and do some damage as well. With that being said, this is the deck. We are basically running all of 24 lands, and we're just trying to get some Beseech the Mirrors onto the stack. This is Beseech the Mirror, Rakdos, Tendrils, Storm. I hope you guys enjoy this one. It'll be a lot of fun. Before we hop into round one, real quick, if you want to support the channel, you can do so by subscribing if you are new, and if you're a returning subscriber, you can like the video or comment on it to help me with the algorithm. That being said, let's hop into round one. Here we go. All right, here we go. This is our round one. We get to start off with the Inquisition of Kozilek, and then we have Young Pyromancer on turn 2. We can even get a Shambling Ghast onto the battlefield at some point, and through that, we should be able to get our bargain off here. Using the token of Shambling Ghast to pay for the bargain from Beseech. I think I'll keep this hand. We will show them just black to begin with, and let's see what our opponent's dealing with. So this is a combo in of itself, and we'll need to basically get rid of their Mizzix's Mastery here, if at all possible. If we're not able to do that, it looks like they have 3 out of 4 lands needed to cast, so we'll need to beat them as fast as possible to our Beseech turn. So if we can draw Thoughtseize, we feel pretty good about that. Otherwise, they may end up getting that Sarah's Emissary out. Naming Sorcery will basically just totally remove us. We know that this Inquisition is not going to do anything here. So we'll probably just start with the Young Pyromancer here. Next turn we can cast Shambling Ghast and maybe just cast Inquisition to get the Young Pyromancer trigger. Here is a Black-Cleaved Cliffs, and we'll go this guy. And then we'll go Inquisition to make our token here. Fine, another ultimatum, and it looks like they have nothing to discard with, which is great. That's exactly what we want to see. So we're basically set up to combo next turn. We should have them here. Don't think they play any counter magic here. And as it's just a Grim Tutor, this should be the combo turn for us here. Just like them, we are a turn 4 combo, and being on the play means that it looks like we're going to get it. Alright, so we'll go ahead and drop a Sulphurous Springs and go Beseech the Mirror with Bargain. We'll sacrifice our Artifact Enchantment or token here, make another one with Young Peasy, and we go for a Beseech the Mirror here. We'll cast it. The UI does not show up, it doesn't highlight correctly, but you can just choose the Bargain here. And we will continue. Opponent has no priority, so this will actually be a little bit quicker than if they had to click throughout each step. And it is pretty simple from here. So we go ahead and we cast all the Beseech the Mirrors that we have in our deck. Then we'll move on to the Mizzix's Masteries after. We'll go for Mizzix's Mastery here, casting that. We want to make sure that we don't choose our Inquisitions of Kozilek, that would be awkward. Cast Beseech with Bargain, sacking this. Yep. And we are just moving on through here. Mizzix's Mastery. I didn't really keep track of Storm, but I'm pretty sure we're at or above 7. Since this is game 1, I might as well just go ahead and do the whole darn thing. Show the maximum amount of damage that we can do here. It is, oh yeah, we can actually see in our library as we search that we're at 8 Storm. Just to demonstrate all the things that we can do here, I will go ahead and execute the full combo. Only a few more steps left here. And we are going for it. Thank you to the opponent for sticking through with us here. Not all opponents do that, and it is nice to be able to do this for the content. So we have the final Beseech the Mirror coming out, stacking our token, and we get a Tendrils of Agony here in order to murder the opponent fully. Here's Tendrils of Agony, casting, targeting our opponent. Storm is 12. Here we go. And we'll just click through this one real quick. Once again, props to Mr. Quadays over there for sticking around here. Yeah. Couldn't really ask for more in a game 1 here. Got to show what the deck is capable of. That is a full 12 Storm Rakdos Storm. Alright, great round 1. Let's hop into round 2 and see if we can't do it again. Stick around. Okay, it is going to be real hard to top that round 1 there. That was a great one. Here we have a pretty decent amount of cards here. We have the backup of just casting a Shieldred, and then we can go Beseech into our One Ring if we really wanted to do that. Other than that, we just have Sedgemoor Witch as well, which is kind of nice. I think this is a fine keep. Definitely fine to play something a bit slower. And yeah, so we're starting off again. Let's go ahead with Black-Cleaved Cliffs and get a move on. Okay, so we drew one of our Tendrils. That is not terrible. Obviously, every time that we draw a Mizzix's Mastery or Beseech the Mirror, that is taking away from our Storm. So that is something that we do need to think about here. But basically, nothing that we can really do until turn 3. What we'd really like to see is a land here. Our opponent is on gates, and we know that this can be a pretty quick deck. Luckily for us, being a combo deck, we are more or less going to be okay with everything that they do. So, seeing that we have 3 of our Storm cards in hand, this means that there are 9 left, which means we can have up to 9 Storm. Or actually, I think 10, because we get to include one of the ones that's in our hand. So 10 out of 12 Storm, that is still enough to kill our opponent, just barely. And then, of course, we'll gain a little bit of life with the Sedgemoor Witch, so we can use our life as a resource here. Inquisition is our only cast here. And we get to take Gates Ablaze here. We want to keep our things alive. Suppose we will not bother attacking here. Farewell is going to be kind of bad for them as well if they decide to crack it off. So I don't really mind here. And then, of course, we are in a position to just combo if we get another land here. And I know that this deck does not play any counter magic, so we should be good. The Thron Portal always comes in tapped, so it's not like they made a choice here to do their Farewell or not. And bummer, we missed on the land drop, so we're going to have to just pass here. Opponent will get the opportunity to Farewell our board out of existence, which will be great for them. We'll see if they know that that is the right play. If I'm them, they may decide to just go ahead with Maze's End, knowing that they don't have another land in hand for the Kami. It is what it is. And they're moving to their end step. They're just going to pass on through. We get a tapped land, which is unfortunate. It is what it is. We won't bother attacking. And maybe they will give us just another turn without farewelling the board. We are just barely on the edge of being able to kill here next turn. And wow, our opponent just passed right through, so that is basically that's basically it for us. We'll go Beseech, Castle Bargain, auto pay taking life. We will sacrifice this guy. And it's off to the races here. So if I'm not miscounting, I believe this will be 10 Storm, which is 20 damage. We will be basically very close to a kill. What we'll be able to do then is cast our Tendrils from hand on the following turn, and it should be good. So this will be a 2-turn clock. It is what it is. They can top deck an Archway Angel, but I think that it's like pretty unlikely that anything could happen that could derail us here. Alright. And let's just focus in here and execute the combo correctly. And try to finish out. Final Beseech the Mirror here. With Bargain, sack the token. So contrary to the last game, my opponent does have priority here. Honestly, if I'm them, it would be kind of better to just like float mana or activate their Maze's End. Cast our Beseech here. Bargain. And it's actually kind of unfortunate that we lose specifically Mizzix's Mastery, because that's more that we're losing in terms of Storm. It is what it is. And then we need to do the last Mizzix's Mastery. Yeah, that's right. We actually get only 8 Storm instead of 10. If it was 2 Beseeches in the... If it was 2 Beseeches in hand, that would be about the same, actually, if I do my math. Anyway, finally, this is our last Beseech, I believe. And we'll be getting that 8 Storm. And we will find our Tendrils of Agony here and do the most that we can. So that will just be, I believe, 18 damage. So not quite enough to kill. Alright, but we do get a bunch of creatures here, and they will probably crack off the Farewell next turn. So I think it's actually going to be better to just attack with the Sedgemoor Witch. After that, we'll just drop a Shieldred and hope that we can win that way. Oh, but I may need to Thoughtseize away their second Farewell. Alright, they go to 5. We're at 43 here. We do go in with everything. They will need to double block. And I think they probably will do that, especially if they think that they're going to Farewell next turn. Makes sense. Alright, expected that. Yeah. Alright, so here we go. They're going to exile our board here. It'll take basically their entire turn. They did not activate Maze's End, so they're playing a little bit inefficiently, but that's okay. Here's Farewell. That is fine. It's actually kind of annoying that that happened the way that it did, because that turns off our Tendrils into our Mizzix's Mastery. Yeah, notably they still have this Farewell. So, you know, it has to just be a Thoughtseize here. We will make them Hellbent here. And while they can get this Yorion into play if they'd really like to, that is not our main win condition combat damage. Maze's End, short. They're going to thin their library here. Of course, this is a Yorion deck, so they have a lot more lands and a lot more cards in general, so finding their few ofs that can deal with what we're doing here is pretty unlikely. But let's see what they find. Well, that's a thing that could happen. Ulamog for sure. If there's anything that could get them out of this, it is definitely him. We'll float some mana, it's not going to matter. And so now it actually comes down to us needing to draw a untapped land. Otherwise, we might be in a whole lot of trouble ourselves. Oh, and we got it. Okay, so they would have to top deck something really good to deal with the Shieldred. Doesn't matter that they're going to exile our library. They basically need to drop removal right now, or win the game. And they don't have enough lands to do it. Let's see what this draw was. It's now or never for my opponent. Alright, Circuitous Route. That is not the move. Let's count the amount of gates they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, is that actually 10? Wait. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, right. Plaza of Harmony. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, they have 9. And actually, wait, does Maze's End activation get me here? I think it might. Are we just dead? I believe this is lethal, actually. I think they have it exact. Oh, it's not. Wow, okay. Sweet. And it's a good thing that comes in untapped, because if they were to activate it again, I definitely would have been dead. We'll just exile all of our stuff. We will say no blocks, and we will say it's all good. Alright, and I assume they just ship us our turn here. We will end the game with a Tendrils of Agony for Storm 0. Very fun. Okay, well, that's an example of a game where we definitely run into some road bumps there, but all these things are not, in essence, non-overcomable. We were able to make it through and just squeak in for Xaxes here against the Yorion deck. Yorion Gates definitely coming back after the Primeval Titan made it into Historic. This deck is definitely a lot better, way more than it was back in the Ravnica days, wherein I think that's the last time it was played in a high quantity. Alright, sweet. That was a good round 2. Let's hop into round 3. Here we go. Alright, round 3. Let's try this one out. Triple Beseech the Mirror is not what I like to see in my opening hand. I'm going to mull this one. This one's better. Pyromancer is good. Thoughtseize can potentially get rid of something that's annoying. Opponent has taken 2 mulligans. Seeing that they've done that makes me think that this is combo. So I'm happy to keep a Thoughtseize to disrupt. I'll just go ahead and pay the 2 life here. We have Thoughtseize, hopefully taking something important. This is ninjas. Okay, so what am I the most annoyed to see here. Probably silver for master. Same cost as everything. So they're really banking on these creatures sticking around. I'll go Sulphurous Springs here to play for my Pyromancer. They can unsummon it if they want to. I'll just play it with a Shambling Gas next turn. We have Mizzix's Mastery on Thoughtseize. Here's the Fading Hope. Fine. I guess I kind of gave them a free Fading Hope, a free scry there. Yeah, actually that Fading Hope ended up being a Time Walk. Okay, maybe that's not great. Okay, so then we will need to shock here. Pyro Shambling Ghast. We now have a blocker for the Circuit Hacker that we're happy to have die. And we can get a few more creatures here with a Mizzix's Mastery into Thoughtseize. Here's a silver for a master. I think I won't block. You just hit me for 3, fine. So they'll draw here. Making a decision. What'll it be? They discard a thing, so they're keeping something that they want, so this is definitely a situation where I just want to pay some life here. As much as it hurts, we're going to go ahead and Mizzix's Mastery for Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize. I'm going to go to 7 here. It's a little tight. It is what it is. We get to take this Moonsnare Specialist. They are on top deck mode, and now we just sit here and block trying to deal with their creatures. Alright, they should not attack here. Nice. Get a Sedgemoor Witch. Happy to see that guy. No attacks. We will pass. So now we have a board that can defend at the very least. And we are going to try to look for any one of our Beseeches, or ideally not Mizzix's. So we're looking for 4 cards here. I definitely block here, and I definitely block here. The question is this another Silver Furmaster? Assuming that it is, what I'll do here is go like this and like that. I'm still going to be able to keep the young Pyromancer out, but this way we, you know, make sure that we get the trades that we want. Okay. And let's see what it is. Let's see if our read is correct. It is a Silver Furmaster. All right. Well, the read is correct there. That is what we wanted to make sure. And we will make a treasure token so that we have game if we draw a Beseech here. Young Pyromancer. That is the move. I'll hold this just in case they are afraid that we have any sort of interesting things to do here. And then, of course, Ornithopter will eventually kill us if they draw creatures. Infernal Grasp, okay. We are still alive to our 3 draws, and oh my god, we got it. Beseech the Mirror with Bargain. Get our treasure out of here, and we are off to the races. Looks like our opponent should not have any sort of interaction here. Get there. Let's go. Heart of the cards, baby. We got it. Alright, Beseech the Mirror 3. Casting with Bargain. Sack the token. Opponent's at 19. This should be lethal. Beseech. Beseech. Beseech token. Alright, now we move on to our 3 of our Mizzix's Masteries. It'll actually be a little close. Beseech. Beseech. With Bargain. Oh, it actually highlights this time. That's interesting. It doesn't always do that. Beseech, we go for Mizzix's Mastery. Mizzix's. Casting Beseech. Boom, boom. Cast with Bargain. Sack that. Last Mizzix's Mastery. Target our Beseech. 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 And token. Alright, and there is a Tendrils for 10. And we should have it. 22 damage. Alright, well, we've had some pretty good games here. We've been able to either combo kill our opponent right out from under their nose, or we got close enough to just finish them off. Pretty sweet. I have been pretty excited with how this deck is going so far. Definitely a fun one, but like a lot of true Storm builds, you actually need to think about your lines here. Because the margins are pretty tight with how many Beseech the Mirrors and Mizzix's Masteries that we have, it's a bit hard to make it work correctly. One thing that you could do is you could be running Ornithopters in this deck if you wanted to, but then that just kind of makes our draws a little bit worse. Like, if you take a look at the things that we can draw, either there are combo pieces, there's something that makes a treasure, or there's something that allows us to dig for our Beseeches. So everything is pretty much working together here, and I think that adding an Ornithopter, if anything, would just be a detriment. Well, with that being said, that's our round 3. Let's hop into round 4. We got 2 more left to go. Thanks for sticking around, and yeah, here comes round 4. Okay, it's round 4. Let's go. The league has been pretty good so far. We have Sedgemoor Witch here, and the question is, do I want to save the Inquisition of Kozilek to try to get the extra, to try to like make my token here, or should I trust in the fact that I might draw one later? I think I'll trust in drawing it later. And we'll probably just Inquisition our opponent here. It's a Luris, which means that we should hit a bunch off of our Inquisitions here. We'll start with an Inquisition. They will get their Esper Sentinel thing here. And okay, so this is going to be some kind of like Bogles thing. What I think I'll do is take away their ability to make cards. And then basically all I need to do is combo kill them before they can gain life. And before they kill me as well. That's kind of notable. We'll be able to take Core Spirit Dancer here, which is great. We will auto pay for that. And yep, Core Spirit Dancer, easy take. And now we go Sedgemoor Witch, hopefully get something pretty soon here, and then we'll eventually go for our Beseech line. If I find Mizzix's Master, I think I'm pretty content in doing like replaying my Thoughtseize or something. We're not super pressed on life, which is great, and our lands are in such a way that playing Sedgemoor Witch doesn't involve us taking any damage. All we got to make sure is that when we eventually need to use these Sulphur Springs for black mana, we have enough life left to do it, so we just need to stay above like 2. Vigilance First Strike, it's fine. Looks like they go for another Invisible Stalker here. Alright, so we get hit for 3 a turn now, that's kind of annoying. Yeah, we just kind of chill here. We can actually Inquisition next turn to make our token, and then all we need to do is find a land. Alright, Staggering Insight. Not super happy to see that. They're going to be at like 26, so we're going to be a little bit away from being able to do what we want to do here. I'm not sure we can combo kill them now on our next turn. We might just be 1 too slow. Alright, so we find our land, which means we go Sedgemoor into Inquisition. Inquisition them. With a 9. We're going to be going kind of low here. We do have the Pests, which is nice. I'm going to offer this 2-for-1 trade here. We don't really need to have the Sedgemoor Witch be around. Alright, nice. Being able to put them to 20 keeps them in range for the kill. So that's great that this happened this way. They'll go to 23. That is a winnable situation for us. And we're at 5 here. So unless they can deal direct damage, we are okay. Alright, then Bogle's up, but we have our combo here, so we go ahead and cast for Bargain. Autopay going to 3. Sack this guy, and we're off to the races. Here we go. We are not going to bother paying for this, because the game hopefully will be over here. Beseech, 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 token. Yeah, again, really nice when my opponent doesn't have priority to click through here. It makes this a lot easier for us. Alright, so we finished with the Beseeches here. We will go to Mizzix's Mastery. Cast Mizzix's. Target Beseech. Beseech, bargain, down. Alright. It's always a little bit scary that I'm going to click the wrong thing and totally fizzle, but basically it's up to me to not make a mistake at this point. Beseech the Mirror. Alright, and you know, if that wasn't enough, now we have 10 little tokens that can be used to kill our opponent if we do fizzle. Alright, we're at 8 Storm, getting close to kill. Beseech. Final Mizzix's Mastery goes down here, casting our final Beseech. And we find Tendrils here. Tendrils of Agony for 12, here we go. Alright. And yeah, we get to make a shitload of tokens because we copied a bunch of spells. Alright, well, if it wasn't enough that we had our Tendrils kill here, we would absolutely have our Sedgemoor finale with all of these little tokens. Alright, so a great round 4. Let's hop into round 5 and end out with one more strong game. Here we go. Alright, it's the final round. Let's see what we got here. So Deadly Dispute is nice. We make the token that we need, but we need to find our token producers. And then having Beseech plus Mizzix's Mastery is technically a downside, so I think we mulligan this one looking for something else. And we actually do find pretty much exactly what we want to keep here, and I'll probably just end up discarding one of my Smoldering Marshes, I'd say. Yeah, I think Smoldering Marsh is the idea. Alright, well, we'll take a slow play here. Probably rip off a Thoughtseize to begin with. And then see what our opponent is doing. Okay, so it's Gates, so that's good to know. Let's try to take something good from their hand. Gates Ablaze is a problem. Authority of the Consuls is a problem. Sorry, that doesn't matter. Well, it kind of matters. Gates Ablaze. Well, Gates Ablaze is a sorcery. I just have to make sure that I go Sedgemoor Witch. It needs to not die to Gates Ablaze. So I gotta either hope that they do not realize that they need to kill my things on arrival before I combo, or... Actually, you know what? Authority of the Consuls is worse. That's actually way worse. You have to get rid of that. Essentially takes them off a turn. This is actually great. So we get the Thoughtseize again. Now we get to take Gates Ablaze as well. And we get to play a Shambling Ghast. Next turn it's Sedgemoor Witch, and all we need to do is draw into our combo piece. Inquisitional Kozilek, I mean, I can take out their card draw, which is cool. And we get to soften them up here. Well, there's no Inquisition this turn then. Kind of a mistake, I guess. Yeah, Guild Summon's going to draw them a lot of cards. Kind of feel bad for letting that one go. Now we actually get to do both. We get to go Sedgemoor into Inquisition. We'll make some creatures. Alright, and we're a little bit weak to a board wipe here. Escape to the Wilds is going to be a problem, and they're going to try to ramp into this Ugin as soon as possible. We can deal a lot of damage to them, though, and I don't think they have any sort of life gain, so the damage will be done, most likely. lots of lands. I don't know this card. This is Navigation Orb. Allows you to search for gates. Fine. Deadly Dispute potentially draws us into something. Swing in. And actually our opponent is very close to dead. I will do this now. Suppose I could wait. So is this Ugin mana? I think it is. Oh, interesting. So destroy all creatures. Well, I do want to get my draws here. And I will do it like this. Alright, we get to gain even more life here. Now hopefully we can draw something that kills our opponent. Inquisition does not kill our opponent, sadly. And nor is it a creature. Make a token. And we get to go back up to 18 life. They continue to hold this Ugin, which is actually going to be a huge issue for us. So we could actually go Beseech. We have 2 Beseeches with these 2 tokens. So we do have lethal if we draw it. Opponent's going to draw. We just have to hope they don't draw out of it. So we go in here. Unfortunately, that's not it. We'll go Inquisition them again, just because. See what our opponent's dealing with. We can only take this. Now they have Prime Time and Ugin. So we may end up losing to a Maze's End here. Primeval Titan. Okay. They have, I believe, 10 lands in play. So that is just about lethal unless we draw or Beseech the Mirror exactly right now. They get double Maze's End for redundancy, makes sense, and here's some circuitous roots. It is about to be over unless we combo them right here. This is a big draw for us. Let's see if we get it. They should not be able to touch our treasures, but if they can, that will get us. No, they're just going for more gates, makes sense. More cards, sure. And they pass turn, so big draw here. It is just a young Pyromancer, so I believe this means that we are dead. We'll show them our cards and let them go ahead and activate Maze's End for the win here. So, looks like we had everything but round 5 go pretty well for us here. A lot of different combos, a lot of different ways to win in this deck. It's pretty linear, but definitely a fun one nonetheless. I'm definitely enjoying the fact that it's all about kind of setting up a combo, which can sometimes be narrow, sometimes your opponent can get out of it, but it just makes it feel better when you're able to pull it off correctly. So that being said, that is the end of the deck tech. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This one was definitely a lot of fun to play. If you want to see the deck for yourself, the deck list will be in the Aether Hub link in the description, so feel free to check that out. But with that being said, that brings us to the end. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like or comment on it to help me with the algorithm and to support. And if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this one, we do videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so subscribe to stay tuned for those. That being said, that's it for me, and I'll see you in the next one.